All right. So, to anyone who's watching this, I thank you, and hopefully you stick around for the entire video. This is, if you don't know what you're watching, this is a game that was arranged through the Gauntlet, which is a community on the internet that gets together and plays tabletop role-playing games online. Find it at gauntlet-rpg.com to find all sorts of stuff. Most important thing that's pertinent to today, and apologies if I'm running through this intro fairly quickly, but we are a bit late, so we're just going to get into it. This game was arranged through the Hangouts calendar in the Gauntlet. This is session 3 of our month-long look at Deep Morphean Transmissions by M.E. Allen, otherwise known as Dying Stylishly Games. You might remember her for such works as The Stygian Library and The Guardians of Yin. Deep Morphean Transmissions is all about government agents, bureaucracy types, going into this weird mental dreamscape and trying to plumb the secrets within. And our hardy group has done well. They've accomplished the previous mission, so they're making headways into getting deep into the dreamscape, so to speak. But who are these agents? I'm gonna go right to left on the character keeper because I do kind of want to and so I'll just actually to introduce yourself and pronouns and whatnot, and then introduce your character, tell us like a brief thing about your character and a cool thing you remember them doing in the previous session they were in. So we'll start right to left. Actually, I should introduce myself first. Sorry if I'm a bit discombobulated. Not had much coffee. I'm gonna rectify that, but hi, name's Andrew. Use him pronouns, and yeah, I'm running this thing. So let's go right to left. So Sabine, tell us about yourself and your character.
Oh, hi, I'm Sabine. I use any pronouns. I am going to play KATSUO, who uses the he, him pronouns. KATSUO is the technical support. That means that he can has some tech hacks, I guess, in the dream world that he can use to do stuff. But well, it's a two-trick pony at this point. But he also revealed, I think last time he revealed that he was actually interested in neurology and stuff like that, and that might have been how he came to the agency. He's not a bureaucrat, oh damn it, what's the word, the type of guy you would expect in a bureaucracy. He wears leather jackets a lot and has colored his hair blue for reasons. And yeah, he kind of isn't very happy with the whole hierarchy stuff and stuff like that. But he mostly expresses that by being snarky. So
yeah, not really the type you'd find in a government agency, but it works well in the mission. Up next, Horace, can you tell us about yourself and your character?
I'm Horst he, him. I'm playing Agent Barbara Hoyt, who is probably the opposite of Katsuo, very much by the books, very young. It was her first incursion into the dreamscape. And what I like, she, what's her role? Logistics. And so she can contact control, and they may grant the team certain requests. What I remember from last time was the final scene, which took part in a pub where the team celebrated the fact that Agent Hoyt's first mission was a success.
Yeah, did quite well. Summoning salt and all that. Although yes, it did only do 1 damage. Thanks, dice.
Yeah, that is another thing that happened last time. So Agent Hoyt contacted control, and they dropped a gigantic sack of salt on the Squid Man from IP.
Yeah,
but obviously salt is not really very, it's not a good weapon against squids.
Yeah, who knew? Yeah. Yeah, and you had a really big dice for that, because I think I deemed the salt being military grade explosives. to the Squid Man. Didn't really work out. Someone had
They sent table salt instead of whatever salt you actually requested.
yeah, you had to be
Or,
really
or,
specific.
or maybe that's the squid is a sea creature, so salt is not, they're not like snails. And then we know that now. It's good.
Yeah, now we know that. Well, someone who had the first run-in with the aforementioned Squid Man. Donna, would you introduce yourself and your character?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Donna. My pronouns are he, him, and tonight we'll be playing Agent Snooker, who is the security officer on the team, whose main talent so far seems to be getting in the way of bullets and drinking whiskey. Otherwise, I guess we learned that even though he is the picture of a clean-cut, square-jawed, all-American hero, his idealism does not run quite as it does for Agent Hoyt.
Hell yeah. Well, I don't know if that's hell yeah, but you know, pretty good. Well, yeah. And right, last but not least, joining us back after Miss Scott last session. Pearl, why don't you tell us about yourself and your character?
Hello, I'm Pearl. I use she and her pronouns. And I am playing Agent Bubbles, but he prefers Agent Bubs. And he missed a lot of what his comrades were doing last time we were all together because he had climbed into a painting. And this is something the other characters don't know, but the players can know this. He is convinced that Magritte is the key to the space-time continuum. So any surrealist paintings are going to be very interesting to him. Otherwise, he's sort of a veteran. He's been with the, what is it, an agency, bureau, whatever it is, for longer probably than anyone else, and acts sort of like over it and gruff and whatnot, but really is still there because he's obsessed with the dreamscape. So he wants to go back, and he has his own agendas. Although he would not let anything happen to the team if he can help it. But yeah, that's Agent Bubs. Never really know what he's thinking.
Well, I'm going to ask some questions about what he was thinking when he stepped into the painting when we get into play. But before we get into that, let's talk about safety tools that we are using. It's terribly important. Wrong tab. Okay, so remind folks that we have a row of lines and veils in the lines and veils tab on the character keeper. Lines are things that just won't be crossed, just won't show up in the fiction at all. Veils are things that can happen in fiction, but we're not going to concentrate on them. Like it happens off screen, or gets a sentence or two. We kind of like fast forward over that. More on fast forward later. There's also some stuff that are like labeled as ask first. Basically, there are things that can like they can be introduced, but first we gotta make sure that the table knows. Now, ask the table first if it's okay to bring these sort of things along into the fiction. We're also using script change for this series. Script change is a series of commands that kind of like let us help modulate play a bit. In fact, in the Roll for Party, which I will put a link in the chat. Basically, the main commands we're going to be using from script change are on there. The first one up is rewind. When you rewind, you back up to a specific point in a scene and do the scene over again, avoiding whatever issue led to the rewind and trying a different way. It could be any issue. It could be just even something simple as like a name, or it could be like the tone of the scene or the actual like just scene itself. We might have some questions on what's being rewound, but we'll respect when rewind is played. We'll go back and try a different tack. There's also pause, which basically anyone can call about pause if you need a break from an intense scene, like if it's just getting a bit too emotional, or maybe you just need to take a break, whether that's because there's an emergency you need to take care of, or You need to take a bio break. A pause can be called at any time, or even if you're like just seeking some clarity or discussion about the game or content. Basically, if like you feel like you missed something, or you just the scene kind of pass you along, or you're a bit distracted, which is perfectly fine. It happens. There's quite a bit of cognitive load that's that can be required for playing games like these, and it's perfectly fine if you need to pause and need some clarification. And finally, there's like the fast forward button there, which is basically when you fast forward, you fade to black and advance time as needed to avoid content or elements of play, or just to move forward in time. Like basically, that's used for like, hey, we don't need to linger on this scene. Hey, we don't need to know more. Or like, yeah, sentence or two. That's good enough, and we can fast forward and just move on. And as always, anyone who called for the original description change in effect can call for a resume to return to normal play at any time. Okay, so before we kind of get into it, let's do like a recap of like what happened like fully, because I know like there was like a recap in email, but let's do that for anyone who could be jumping in. If you are, I will say, check out the other 2 episodes. They're fun. So these player characters, they're, as aforementioned, they're agents as part of the Morpheus agency, which is a kind of secretive, kind of crappy agency that's been set up to delve into this kind of different plane that's called the Dreamscape. And it's called the Dreamscape because it's accessed by through sleep, through some machine kind of induces sleep and sends your unconsciousness or consciousness into the dreamscape. Last time our agents had a mission where they were to escort one of their higher ups, Agent Day, to help facilitate this deal in this strange art gallery that's also kind of been projecting weird mesmeric paintings into the real world. Agent Bubbles figured out that these paintings can be stepped into, and promptly stepped into one just as that painting was kind of like suddenly just disappeared and was replaced by that weird swirling red and black spiral that's kind of been covering the painting. Oopsie daisy. Don't worry, Agent Bubbles is fine. The nice thing with being connected to the FBPBI machine is that Control can just kind of like yank you out if things go too bad. Meanwhile, the other agents found out that, oh no, it's this gallery, this benefactor that kind of took control of the gallery is a squid man, who was apparently projecting all these mesmeric stuff into the real world. The squid man was confronted, and there was a fight, and the squid man got defeated. Sadly, not thanks to salt, but through bullets. And basically, the mission was accomplished. They managed to talk to the tour guide / kind of person who controls this place, Jesse. And yeah, mission accomplished. The agency has now control. They are the new benefactors of the gallery. So yeah, here we go. The agency now has a new launching off point to launch more expeditions into the dreamscape, which can only be a good thing. But I do want to ask Agent Bubbles, because I think this next mission is going to be like probably a few days after the most current one. So I want to ask Agent Bubbles, kind of like around the time you stepped into the painting, which I remind you is like that painting was, you didn't expect to see in the gallery because that was a painting you made about the dreamscape. It was a castle and a field. Yeah, I want to know, what does it feel like to step into your own dreams? This isn't like lucid dreaming where you're aware that that you're dreaming, but this is like consciously stepping into a dream that's coming from you. I kind of want to know what does that feel like?
I mean, on the one hand, for Agent Bubs, it was exciting because this is just the sort of thing he's trying to figure out. But otherwise unnerving because it is what was drawn, but you don't know what else is there, right? Like the drawing was, this big, and you're walking into a whole landscape, right?
Yeah.
So it's like figuring out where the parts that you made up end and where the dreamscape may have started to impose upon that was very unnerving. I mean, I made up a whole story of what happened in my head just in case, but I don't want to take up too much game time or anything. But
Could you give us the cliff notes of that story? I mean, I kind of want to know what you think happened then when you stepped into that painting, or whatever it is the case that kind of took you out of the mission.
So I think, if I recall correctly, there was a building with a window that looked like a fisheye.
Yes, I think I remember there was a building, for sure.
So I think, you know, after taking a sort of cursory look around to make sure there wasn't anything like horrid galloping my way, headed towards the building because it was the only thing that made sense to the degree that anything else did, and actually encountered a giant fish walking out of the building, and was going to begin trying to have a conversation with this fish about what was going on, when unfortunately what he was recalled by the agency, and he was like, "I'll be back, wait for me here, fish." So we don't know yet what the fish might have said, but there is a giant fish that was not drawn.
I kind of want to ask you to do a roll to see if you can figure out what the fish said. Just
I
right
did
in
just
that
take
moment.
the speak and comprehend languages skill.
Oh.
So I didn't have it last time, but I could have, presumably. So
yeah, I think you get that afterwards, after you get out of the mission.
Yeah.
So technically, in this speaking to the fish, that hasn't happened yet. So you might have to make like a roll to like
Sure.
maybe try and remember what the
I'm
fish
just
said.
looking at the rules and stats and things because I'm always bad with these kinds of things. So would it be?
You're gonna roll a d20, and let's see what attribute this be. I think this is kind of like intelligence to like
That makes sense.
try and remember pierce out. So you can roll a d20. You want to roll under your current intelligence.
I still object to my intelligence being so low.
Oh, I will say actually, since you leveled up, you can improve one of those three: intelligence, will, or charisma by 1.
I will improve intelligence. I don't think that Agent Bubs is so charismatic as my other low score, but I think he's probably, his whole point is figuring things out, right? So,
Okay, so yeah, intelligence goes up to 12 then. So you want to roll under 12.
it worked.
Hey,
Amazing.
There you go. Hell yeah! So you rolled a 6, so that's success. So I think, like this comes to you in like the waking world, kind of like as you're kind of thinking over like what the hell was this fish saying to you, and I think somehow in that 5 seconds where like you meet the fish and they say something and you get yanked out by control, it feels like an entire conversation happened. And I kind of want to know, what was the conversation about that kind of left you in a kind of a pleasant mood? Because I think most of that conversation was pleasant until we got to like to the very end. It's a pillow, by the way.
Okay.
I forgot.
It was like,
there for.
I thought you would like put that on the screen somehow for a second, and I was like, I don't know how to put emojis in my background.
Oh no, I can grab it. Hold on. Oh, actually, I'll not do that now.
So I think what would make Agent Bubs cheerful in a conversation with a mystery fish would be something to the effect of, "You're on the right track, keep going." Like the fish seemed to know why I was there.
Yeah.
And like I was like, "I'll be back," and whatever else, but the fish was encouraging me, if you will, to keep up the investigating and searching I've been doing because I'm onto something.
Yeah. I think the fish is like very encouraging to yourself. So I'm just gonna text there. I'm gonna turn that phone off. It was very encouraging. Keep up. You're nearly there. Keep going forward. You might outrun the VORM, so keep going.
VORM?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
I think before you can even ask that, I think that's when Control yanked you out.
I'm
I
sure.
think
Yeah.
because I think as you're talking to the fish, the painting around you kind of start that weird red and black spiral kind of started bleeding into the painting. That's why
Yeah.
Control had to yank you out.
I can imagine sort of a cinematic moment of being like, not yet, God damn it, I'm just about to find out, you know, like often happens in spy things or whatever else when people are extracted right as they're getting somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, one more thing, one more piece of like whatchamacallit, upkeep. Because you leveled up, you do get some other stuff like you get an entire D6 more health, so you're gonna roll a D6
Ooh.
and add that to your total heart points.
Right. D6.
Yeah, and that goes to your total heart points.
6.
Hey, so yeah, okay,
It's
your
like
heart
my
points.
best rolling day ever.
So your heart points go up from 4 to 10, which is really good.
Vast improvement. I was pretty sure I was going to die last time with some of the stats I had. So,
Yeah.
hooray!
Yeah, and all your saves improve by 1. I'll take care of that because we had a bit of like, wait, how does this improve? Okay, all right, hold on. So 12, 10, 15. It may look like your saves are going lower because I'm going from like 16 to 15, but with saves you want to roll over to hit those.
Makes sense. Yay for leveling up. Thanks everyone for having such a good mission while I was talking to a fish. I appreciate it.
Okay, so now I want to know, in these couple of days, let's say it's like only 2 or 3 days since your previous mission, or maybe like even more, because it does feel like the agency, if they were nice, they'd be like, yeah, you just did a harrowing mission in a kind of harrowing mission in Dreamscape. We'll let you off for a few days. I want to know, and let's go right to left again with the character keeper, what your character has kind of been doing in that time since. Kind of like, what are you doing to, like, you know, take some time off, or pursuing a hobby of some sort, even just talking to people. But yeah, let's go right to left on that again, starting with Katsuo. Well, I'll give you all a minute to think about it first.
Oh, I know what Katsuo wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to grab one of the copies of the painting.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he
Ooh.
wanted to go and try to see if he could convince somebody to give it to him because he kind of fancies that it looks nice in his living room.
Okay. All right. Let's see. I'm gonna roll on this table name of agent names. This table of agent names. All right. There we go.
Ooh,
Let's
I'm
see.
very curious.
Oh yeah. Oh, this is from a different game. This is from Lacuna.
Oh. Okay.
Let's see. Okay. So my choices. Okay. I'll go with Agent Walker then. Okay. So tell me, Katsuo, what is it about Agent Walker that will make acquiring this painting or a copy of this painting a bit tricky?
What? Excuse me, I didn't get that.
Oh, tell me, what is it about Agent Walker that makes acquiring this painting a bit tricky? Because Agent Walker, I imagine, is the one who's kind of like in charge of like archiving all the stuff you pick up.
I think that Agent Walker and Katsuo had a bit of a sort of a date, and then it didn't go any further because and somewhere in between, Agent Walker learned that Katsuo had a boyfriend, and then he was like, why did we go on a date? And Katsuo was like, well, yeah, because that's how my relationship works. It's okay, it's fine. And he didn't really get that. So that's what makes it tricky.
Yeah, I'm imagining now that Agent Walker, whenever, what are their pronouns?
He, him, I guess.
Okay.
He's one of those guys who look like 40 even though they're 20.
Okay. Just note these down. Too many of these agents. Yeah, I think. So how are you? You know then that he's in charge of like archiving all this stuff. So how does Katsuo go about trying to get this painting?
I think you just try to talk to him. I mean,
Yeah, and I think like when you talk to him, like he's at this like office next to this gigantic like bank vault kind of door, which you know is where all the good stuff is kept, or all that stuff
Oh,
is kept. And
neat.
and he's looking at you, and he's wearing these like kind of like very severe sort of glasses, reading glasses, for sure. And he's kind of peering over them at you, and it's just, Katsuo, I'm looking at this request that you, well, I didn't even know you knew how to request stuff from this department. But now, why in the blue hell would I let you just have this?
Oh, Agent Turner helped me to fill this out. But look, this first of all, I saw it in a dream. Haha. I saw it in the dream. You know, that's what the agency is all about. And this is one of the copies made by an artist I happen to actually like. And I've been looking for a painting for my living room. So I have a personal connection there. And I mean, it's not doing any damage or any good to anyone if it's lying around there in just art wants to be free in the world, right? Doesn't it?
Okay, I know I said we weren't gonna do like roles in the waking world, but this I think we're gonna do it for this. This won't affect your heart rate because
Oh, neat.
so because we're in the waking world. I know there are like rules for like doing missions in the waking world, but we're not gonna like dig into them. This is just gonna be to see if this works.
I mean, maybe it can affect his heart rate.
What is Katsuo like putting on the?
A little, maybe. And he's like, come on, don't be such a stick in the mud. I know you have a rebellious streak somewhere in you.
All right, this is gonna be a charisma check,
Yeah.
for sure.
I'm pretty sure it is. Charisma. There it is. And I want to roll below, right?
Yes.
Damn it, I didn't. I'm always rolling high in this game. That is not a good thing.
Unless you're trying to hit someone.
Yeah, I don't want to hit him.
Yeah, I think. Okay, I think here's kind of how it is. I think he goes through like the 4 pages of, actually more than 4 pages of this application form you have to fill out, and he says, there is one way you can get this painting, I suppose, Katsuo, but that would mean having to suborn your living room to the agency as part of an operation. Or the thing is, we're still testing this thing for any residual effects of the mesmerism that your after action report described. And well, if you're really desperate to have it hang around your living room, you wouldn't mind having over maybe 1 or 2 other agents to observe your painting. The thing is, well, I've seen your apartment, Katsuo. I'm sure you can afford to fit in 1 or 2 more people there. I mean, if you really want to spruce up that, well, you're muted, Sabine.
Okay, so I'm supposed to host these in my living room for the next future. Okay, are you going to be one of them?
Absolutely not. I'm incredibly busy, as you can see. And he points to the vault door, and which, yeah, you can hear wind behind it for some reason, just like loud, like just wind.
One of these days, you're going to take me in there, worker.
Well, one of these days, you're gonna have to introduce me to your boyfriend.
He's in Japan. But I will. Sure, why not?
I think like he flicks through like the last page and just kind of like stamps something and just says, take this to department blah blah blah, the department of
Sir,
operations.
yes, sir. I can't wait who you are going to put up in my apartment.
Okay, so that's what KATSUO's been doing.
Yeah.
Sure, there's nothing bad about putting that painting in your living room. God no. What about Agent Hoyt? What have you been up to in these days since gallery
I
mission?
think Hoyt has a routine where she goes to the shooting range with the pistol she found in the dreamscape to improve her aim. And in the afternoon, she is trying. Is there like a library in the Morpheus agency, or is there?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'd say
Like
yeah. There's archives. There's like
archives.
yeah.
And she's looking for information about the Liddell Institute.
Ooh. Do you wanna? Let's make a roll for that then. That sounds like intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say right now, you'll find something. We'll see. The success or
How-
fail can tell you how much you'd find.
Let's see. My intelligence is good, so I have a good brain. That's a 20. Is that a fumble?
I don't think there's any like rules for. Yeah, I don't think there's fumbles here. I've not seen any. So
Okay,
I
cool.
did
So a
reach.
failure.
Yeah, it's just a straight failure. I think what you will get is that like yeah, there's almost no information. There's really very little information about the Liddell Institute. The only thing you'll find is like hold on, let me look through the actual information in the book about the Liddell Institute. Okay, all right. I think what you'd find, the only little bit you'd find is that like there's like a mention of a Marcus Liddell who I think, and the only mention of them is like a meeting between this Marcus Liddell and one of the first directors of the Morpheus agency. That's like it's like a very random brief, like, oh, Mark, director. Let me roll on this lacuna table again. Director Connor, the most boring name in that on that table. Director Connor had a meeting with a bunch of names, and you see Marcus Liddell is there.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Did we have like a debrief of the mission?
Yes, I'd say like in the debrief, which nothing about it. We probably should have lingered longer. We went straight to the pub afterwards. Yeah, I think in the debrief, like the most that like Agent Turner was doing the debrief. The very nervous agent who gave you the briefing. She was doing the debrief, and yeah, I think it was.
Hoyt would have mentioned the name of the institute, not in order to inquire about anything, but mentioning the fact that. Remind me, we found like it was not a business card, but
Yeah, we
some
found a
mentioning
journal
a journal
by an agent of that institute.
Yeah, and it was in the possession of the Squid Man.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that is what she would have mentioned to Agent Turner.
Yeah, and I think Agent Turner, like, would have noted it down. It's like, yeah, okay, put that in my notes. Put that in the debriefing file. I think, like, she probably would have confiscated probably the stuff you took, and then give it back if you want to come back to the dreamscape. But I think like that kind of like she was going through a checklist of what to do in the debrief, and I think that kind of like passed over, and that's why you still have that gun, which might turn into something else if you bring it to the dreamscape. Just saying. Yeah. So I'm looking at the Squid Man weapon here. It's like, ooh, that's a lot. Yeah. So I think I think she passed along that you mentioned the Liddell Institute to the higher ups, but yeah, in the agency itself, you can barely find anything about the institute. Cool. What about Agent Snooker? What have you been up to in these past couple of days?
I had been thinking of doing some research on the Liddell Institute, but Hoyt is there ahead of me. So I don't know. I wonder if if Agent Walker has tapped Snooker to be one of the people sleeping on KATSUO's couch to observe the painting.
Yeah.
Love it. I hope you like sushi.
Sure.
Yeah. How's Katsuo's living room?
I think it's very austere. Like there is a white couch and white walls and a huge TV screen, and a kind of bookcase filled with, I think, mostly classical texts like plays and stuff like that. There is one painting on a wall, which is a sort of a it's a Japanese painting with some kanji next to it, and it's a vase with a flower coming out of it, and that's basically it. There is and there's, I think he said he had a cat, right? There is a cat, a very distant and queenly cat, which will look at you very critically.
I mean, that is what I understood when you said cat, but okay.
Oh, there are cats who will jump onto your back and purr until you take notice of them. This is not one of these. She also won't bite you just because you exist.
Okay, well, I can live with that.
Yeah. So what's so tell me, like, what's the job in terms of like observing this painting? Is it just like looking at it for extended periods of time, Agent Snooker?
Yeah, it's like any surveillance jobs. It's hours and hours and hours of boredom, and then maybe something will happen, but maybe not. So I guess it's a lot of sitting on the couch and watching TV and just keeping an eye on this painting just in case.
Yeah. I might have to make you make a save because you're staring at this painting, which has mesmerized Katsuo in the past. Okay, let's see which one would be. Okay, that's a save versus mental trauma. Yes, because it's a save against that kind of stuff, mind reading and whatnot.
Yeah.
So you want to roll over a 12.
Okay.
Or at least 12 and over.
Yeah.
With a d20.
An 11.
Oh my god. No one's okay. Only Agent Bubs has succeeded in a roll. Gosh. Okay. All right.
Eventually, I did as well.
I think I'm gonna. I think you just. I'll save the full effect for when you get into the dreamscape. But I think Agent Snooker. I think there's just like a. You just notice that like there's like a very mild sort of itching sort of sensation. It's very mild. It could just be like, oh, it's it's nearing summer. It's getting warm. There's pollen everywhere. Although I don't know why pollen would make you itch. I don't know why I thought of that. But yeah, I guess you get like this like sort of mild sort of scratch. Like yeah, it's just it's like weirdly itchy behind your eyes. That sort of thing.
Well, that's just lovely.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It'd be grand. It'd be grand. Nothing will happen. And I know, like, I
think the key benefit to this is that because it's a mission, we get to order takeout and put it on expenses. And
that is true.
These are the important priorities Agent Snooker has right now.
Nice. I mean, yeah. While you're on mission, that's it's fine.
I mean, if you're into exotic kind of craft beer, you might be in luck.
Nice.
Agent Snooker, I don't know how you feel towards craft beer. Maybe.
Well, let's order as many as we can get away with, and get through expenses. And if I don't like them, you can have double, right?
Fair enough. I am adjusting my view on Agent Snooker a little.
Nice. All right. So
I mean, bureaucracy can be used for good as well as evil. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Bureaucracy can be like just
It can be
Have a
turned
bit of
against
comfort.
itself, you know.
Make yourself a
Yeah, I
few
like that.
comforts.
I like that about him.
Okay. All right. So I know we asked like turn to Agent Bubbles. I know we asked like your encounter in the painting, but like yeah, what have you been doing in these couple of days after the mission? Like what have you busying yourself with?
Doing new paintings involving the fish, actually. And I put in the character keeper at the very bottom of my column a little collage of the sorts of paintings that Agent Bubs has been working on. But he's become sort of obsessed with like he needs to reconnect with the fish. And he figures it's possible that one of these dream paintings will manifest itself when they go back. So he's just doing all kinds of variations. He's also got some clippings of other people's paintings of fishes and like articles about like times when a bunch of fish all washed up on shore for no reason in various places now added to that board we sort of established in the first session. He has like a mystery board with all the thumbtacks and the strings. So he's now added fish things. And there are paintings strewn all over the apartment. He sort of works in like a feverish state and probably has not talked to anyone unless they've like sought him out.
Nice. Well, we'll see how that pays off. Yeah, I think. Well, we already had to make your rolls. I'm not gonna make you roll for another thing. I think yeah, this is a nice picture of what's happening. So I think let's see, we're nearly close to an hour. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring all of you all together for a briefing, and then we'll call a break. So I think yeah, it's been 3 or 4 days. Let's say 4 days since the gallery mission. And I think again, everyone gets a memo to meet in conference room 2B. I think it's for certain now. It's 2B. Well, actually, no, it's still. But it just says 2B, so I assume everyone will go to 2B. The only difference is
I will be nice enough to message Agent Turner before we go there and tell her that it is an agent, that we are going to 2B, and if she wants to go at a meeting with us, then be there. Because she made that nonsense, that filing nonsense for me with Agent Walker. So.
yeah. You don't get a response from the message. In fact, it's not even read. And when you get to conference room 2B, you'll notice that the projector has been installed now. It's no longer in a box on the table. And there's already someone waiting there. This person is like in a very nice sort of suit. Kind of, they look like they're deathly kind of thin. Their hair is like red that's turning gray for sure. And they're kind of like drumming their fingers on the table, waiting for the four of you. And you know this one is, you know their name. Their name is Agent Plumber. And I think like they're just kind of like staring at the wall as they're waiting for everyone to kind of like file in. And as soon as everyone does, I think they just say, Agent Turner has gone missing. And we're going to take a break. so let's come back. The plumber, yes, 2 M's, not the first one. So yes, let's take our first break. Let's take a good 10 minutes. Be fine. We did a lot of like character setup and whatnot. So let's take 10, and we'll come back and we'll start this briefing. BRB. Okay, so in this conference room, Agent Plumber, that is Plummer, that's like I mentioned, drumming their fingers as they waited for everyone. Again, skeletal looking man with like short red hair that's turning gray real quick. And they just kind of like give you like this languid kind of gaze as they say, Agent Turner has gone missing. And they kind of like produce from their hands like a small projector remote and start clicking, and the lights turn off and the projector starts working. And you'll see that 2 days ago, actually no, yesterday, actually, and this is me repeating, changing what I wrote down right here. Yesterday, Agent Turner was part of an expedition mission into that dimensional tunnel located near the gallery. She has since gone missing as part of that expedition, not just in the dreamscape, but in the waking world as well. Her apartment was searched thoroughly, but the only evidence to her whereabouts are, and they click through the projector, and they're showing like pictures of, kind of like as if someone tried to take a picture of the gallery in the dreamscape, but it just kind of came out like, that video for "Take on Me" by Aha. Kind of like it kind of came out a weird comic book style, and there's Agent Turner, very awkwardly throwing a peace sign. Next to Jesse, actually, who is much less awkwardly tossing up a peace sign, and then clicking through. There's a click through her apartment. You can see that it has been tossed quite a bit. The only evidence we could find in her apartment as to her whereabouts are some notes that she took, and clicks to the next picture, and there's like these burnt sort of ashen, just ash and burnt pieces of paper. Can't really tell what's in them. The only thing we could make out of these notes is this. And click to the next picture, and there's like, close up of like this piece of scrap and the word VORM on it.
I'm going to assume that I wouldn't want to use the language skill and raise my heartbeat for a single word that might just be a name.
Yeah, the thing is, those techniques don't work in the waking world.
Oh,
They're for
okay.
in the dreamscape.
Sorry, mix that up.
Yeah, no worries.
Doesn't Bubs recognize that word from just before she was yanked out by control?
Yeah, is Bubs gonna bring that up?
Probably should. I don't have any more information. I can just tell everyone, like, I heard that word in the dreamscape. But since I didn't know what it was there either, it feels like I don't have a lot of useful information other than to sort of corroborate that it seems to be important.
I think like Agent Plumber like slowly raises an eyebrow. You can tell they do a lot of things slowly. They're just kind of. What was the context in which you learned of this term, Agent Bubbles?
Well, do you want the long version or the short version?
Given that an agent's life is at stake, and they're saying this really slowly as well, we would prefer that you cut to the chase.
Bubs gives this like long suffering look of how did I end up here? Yes, well then. I climbed into a painting and spoke to a fish, and just as I was getting to the heart of things, you all yanked me back out, and the last thing I heard really was VORM. That's the short version.
I think they nod slowly and says, and they reach out, and again, everything they do is kind of slow, so they reach for a pen and kind of like scratch a note, the notepad in front of them. And then once they put it down, and again, it's kind of tense here because kind of feels like everyone's looking on Agent Plumber to like just give them their orders, and they're taking quite a sweet amount of time. Then finally they say, the agency has pinpointed at least a location where Agent Turner could have possibly disappeared into this dimensional tunnel. Your group has been assigned to seek her out, find her location, and bring her back. At the very least, make sure to pinpoint where she is at the dreamscape and find out from her where her waking body can be retrieved. After all, we want to make sure. Yes, Agent Snooker?
Can you? I'm going to ask a stupid question. How? So she was on a mission in the sleeping world.
Yes.
So like her body would have been downstairs in one of the morphine devices, right?
Yes. We.
And like you lost your body.
I think like they slowly go through their files. And
Did you also lose the device she was in?
here is the timeline of events. Agent Turner was lost in the dimension in the dreamscape, and as part of protocol, Control tried to pull her out. We thought we had found the connection and had pulled her out, and she seemed fine. And she seemed as if she was able, and she walked back home as per usual. Earlier today, we found that she was gone and that her apartment was empty and that a message was sent through the dreamscape to us that Agent Turner was in the dreamscape at the moment.
Sent by whom?
We cannot corroborate who sent this message. That is part of your mission. Your objectives are to find Agent Turner and bring her back, or at least find her location so that we may bring her back. You will also confirm the messenger, this person who sent this message to the agency. And lastly, confirm the existence of VORM. This is a fact-finding mission. So part of the rules of engagement is to not accrue attention on the agency, be discreet, and be subtle. Also ensure that Agent Turner must be taken back safely with more or less her mind intact. She is one of us, and so all forms of safety must be guaranteed on her part.
What's her first name? Does Katsuo know that, or does he have to ask?
I think you know. She seems the type to just give out her first name to folks. Her first name is Eleanor, so that's how you know it.
That part about the burnt photographs, can you repeat that?
Yes. Basically, like the only thing they could find in apartments that was like suspicious was a bunch of burnt notes, and the only word
notes.
The only thing that could be made out from those notes is the word VORM.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So I think like if no one has any more questions for Agent Plummer, I think they will just send you on your way to. And I think this is the XP is at the end of a mission. So don't worry about that. Yeah, and I think so I think if there's no one has any questions for Agent Plummer, I think unlike the last time where you had like a day to like figure stuff out, you're just gonna be sent straight to the FBPI machines.
If anybody else thinks differently, it seems like he probably does not know anything more than what he's saying. He does not seem to be particularly well informed, so there's probably no point in asking more questions. But you all may have had experiences with him that I didn't.
Oh no, he's new. He hasn't shown up.
It's the first time we.
Oh, he's new. Okay.
Talked to him, so.
Okay. Yeah, I bet he doesn't know anything. Newbies.
All right, so I think we are just gonna go straight into the dreamscape. We've already detailed how y'all got in, what everyone feels. Let's do that again because it has been like 2 sessions. And your experiences might be different now since you all have gone to the Dreamscape once. So I'll go left to right this time with the character keeper. I want to ask each character, how does it feel as like, and I think we described the FBI machine as like, just a bunch of beds, and it's kind of like, putting on a mask to like huff some anesthetic, that sort of thing. Yeah, so when you slip into, I'm gonna go from left to right, ask Agent Bubbles, how does it feel now when accessing the Dreamscape?
I think that Bubs is so eager to get there, and like the dude was talking so slowly, it was just kind of driving Bubs nuts the whole time. That he's got so much adrenaline going that what might ordinarily feel kind of floaty is like not feeling as floaty to him. It's like a weird, anxious, like not creepy crawly feeling, because it's not that creepy, but it's less pleasant than it has been in the past because his own like adrenal system is interfering with him taking in the experience.
Nice. Agent Snooker, how does it feel now? I mean, last time it was a very like, well, has it changed?
Yeah, I mean, I think that time wasn't his first. He'd been on a couple of missions before, so I think it's still pretty blasé. In fact, I would say if Katsuo is in a position to kind of notice or noticed how he woke up in the real world, it is almost a carbon copy of it. It's just like, oh, I'm awake now. I better get up and do my job. Very mundane. However, not mundane the dream world is.
Okay. What about Agent Hoyt? Has things changed since this is now your second time going in?
Yeah, I think it has changed in the sense that she tries to get into a happy place with the teenage horse and the Glen in the forest, but now she's worried because the last time it was like, yeah, you're going to the dreamscape, but you will be okay. But now that she knows that people can actually disappear, I think she tries really hard to go to a happy place and maybe fails.
Good luck with that. And Katsuo.
I think it's the same thing as usual. I mean, he tries to fall asleep really hard, which of course won't do anything because you can't force yourself to fall asleep. But then the anesthetics would kick in, and this time it's not the kind of slide he usually does into dreaming where thoughts get a bit wobbly and then consolidate into the dreamscape. It's more like out like a light, in like a light. So he's kind of a bit stumbling, like he's fallen or been had a little push or something. But you will notice that last time he took out of the dreamscape these sunglasses, and he still has them in the dreamscape. No, he didn't have them outside. I mean, he has sunglasses obviously outside, but he didn't wear them in the agency building. But he's wearing them now.
So yeah, I think the 4 of you will kind of like, when you kind of like, again, it's back to a hard cut, but I think y'all are expecting now that hard cut. And I think it cuts to, I think you're inside the gallery when it cuts to, and you'll notice the big change in gallery is like there's none of those clockwork people going the I think you'll see like actual like people are just milling about the gallery. There might be some familiar, oh, they're from that agency. They're from the agency as well. Folks milling about because this is now kind of like your go-to point for going for going to other places. There are like areas of interest, but like because this is only a short campaign, we have one more session after this, unless you go gallivanting toward those areas of interest. I'm gonna go in there at the moment. I think so. Waiting for there is Jesse for Pearl. Jesse's like the tour guide in this place, like the one person in the gallery last time who was like an actual person and not like a clockwork thing. Even the curator was like an extension of the gallery, and I think they're just kind of like waiting for you. Just to remind folks, Jesse's like, you know, as a tour guide, the sort of blazer, and like also has kind of red hair, kind of scrunched up in like a bun. They've got a name tag that just says Jesse and they them please underneath. The word please is there on as well, and they see like the four of you. It's like, oh, hi, hello, I hoping to see y'all again. Oh, I don't think we've met. Name's Jesse, and they extend a hand to Agent Bubs. I don't think we really met. But yeah, I heard the four of you are here to go looking for Lenny, right?
Yeah, we're going to look for her. You know where she was seen last? I mean, I know we have the information from Turner, from Plummer, but he's a denizen of the Dreamscape himself. So
Yes, we got a message from within the tunnel, which is weird. Well, you don't know what you don't want to expect coming out of that tunnel. But yes, we got a message that where Lenny could be found, and basically, and I think they're taking you to like the back end of the gallery, and there's still like paintings about, and they take you to like actually no, they take you upstairs to the office where you fought the Squid Man. And again, there's like people milling about, and you notice that there are more and more agency people milling in the back offices, and they take you to a conference another conference room. No, they've cleaned up the salt. They're gonna leave it there. And I think once they take you to like the conference room, you see that like there is like a note, like a very nice sort of like letter, actually in like nice parchment on the table, and they say, yeah, the message is here, and it's kind of like, it's hard to explain, but like it's kind of like an anchor point, I suppose. It'll take you to where you need to go. It's a kind of logic. It's a kind of logic, I suppose, if that makes sense. Yeah, and well, basically, we have this message anyway. Once you anchor to it, that control or how your control works, we'll be able to like still contact you because you're going through this message. But yeah, well, if you read it, and I think they direct you to the letter, and it's just like a few dashed lines, and it's basically saying, basically it just says, to the Morpheus agency, found missing Morpheus agent Eleanor Turner, known to her friends as Lenny, or Agent Turner, or any other such words. Should you want to come to collect, take this anchor point and follow through to the botanical gardens. Yours, the initials CJ, and printed underneath the Liddell Institute. And Jesse's just like, yeah. So I don't know if you know anything about anchor points, but you just hold on to it and it'll take you where you need to go. It's a kind of logic. So you're gonna be okay. You're gonna get Lenny back, right?
we're trying. I mean, we got the squid guys out of here, even though we were short-handed. So I guess we'll get Lenny back.
Yeah. Well, if there's anything, well, we'll try to keep in touch. Well, control, we'll keep in touch. But yeah, good luck.
I've got a question for you, Jesse. During her visit here, did Lenny seem a little bit strange at any point?
She had a lot of questions. she really wanted to know about how this place works, how the painting stuff works. She was very curious, which is really nice. You know, most of the folks here, even your lot, they kind of want to figure things out for themselves. But Lenny was very nice. She hung out mostly with me. Asked quite a bit. Yeah, I was hoping to see her again at some point, but
I mean, that may seem strange for us, but I'm not sure that's strange for her. But like, when she was leaving, did anything seem odd?
I don't know. You know her more than me. I just thought she had a lot of questions. I just thought that's just how she was, and it was nice. It was really nice.
What'd she ask about? Anything of special interest or just general stuff like what's the tunnel, what's with the glitches and stuff like that?
Yeah. I guess. Yeah, stuff like that, like where the tunnel went. She really wanted to know where the tunnel went, but I just thought, the agency would want to know that because it's a tunnel. It goes further down, and I usually don't like going further down, but sometimes sometimes these paintings, they have to come from somewhere, and sometimes we get them further down. But yeah, she was mostly wanting to know about where else could the tunnel go.
Jesse, did you have any kind of dealings with the Liddell Institute?
I think they're trying to rack their brains. Like, maybe. I'm trying to think. The gallery's weird because sometimes it just acquires these paintings and they could come from places. I think there was someone who donated. I think you can tell they're trying to remember something, but it's a bit hazy for them. It's I think the names do sound familiar. I think they donated something. I'm not sure. We get a lot of donations here, but
I think HOYT will put a hand on their arm and says, Jesse, you got this. You really need to focus. Maybe it was the surreal painting. Could that be?
Yeah, I think this is a role of some sort. Roles outside of combat.
My amazing charisma, maybe?
Yeah, hell yeah. Let's do this.
Which is,
and remember, you are now
8.
in the dreamscape, so anytime you make a roll, whether that's for damage or for saves or anything, they will add to your heart rate.
So let's roll low then.
Yeah.
Last time I rolled a 20. This time I rolled a 15, which is a fail.
Yeah, I think your words are kind of pushes them to really try, and they've screwed up their eyes to make I think maybe and I think the effort is kind of you can see them tearing up just trying to remember.
It's okay.
I'm sorry.
It's okay, Jesse.
I think
all right. You don't have to. We will figure this out.
Agent HOYT will take them in her arms and say, "It's okay, Jesse. Don't worry. We will find Lenny."
Just answer Pearl's question. No one's asked Jesse about the VORM. They've asked Agent Plummer, but no one has about VORM or the VORM. But I think, I think Jesse's in a bit of a distraught state at the moment, thanks to the failed roll. And I think they're kind of okay. I mean, I'm not going to stop you, Agent Bubs, from asking about VORM, but
I didn't, when I was beginning to type that, I did not realize that Jesse was going to be soon incapacitated to some degree. So I will retract my interest in asking questions.
That's part of the fail. But I think what you'll get, because I don't know, I want to give at least something, even in a failure. It's just clearly something. The Dell Institute has kind of did something to Jesse or something like Jesse knows the Liddell Institute came here, but it just can't penetrate through. And I think I think like
I think HOYT turns to KATSUO. Do you think they, like, quietly so that Jesse can't hear her? Do you think they, they did something to their memory, to the brain?
I don't know. I mean, I think what I've got from Jesse now is that they're a pretty sensitive person and might be intimidated. It wouldn't be too hard to intimidate them.
I'm a very sensitive person. I don't start crying when I try to remember something.
Well, if you remember something traumatic.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
I think, somebody tried. Maybe I'm not a mind reader or anything, but I think somebody did something to them. Sure.
Out of character question, if that were a glitch, would KATSUO know?
I don't think it's a glitch.
Yeah, glitches are natural phenomena. They're kind of like, accidents of time and space and whatnot.
Yeah.
If this is like, something the Liddell Institute did deliberately, that would be a hack. So that's kind of like the difference. A hack is like a deliberate action.
And would she be able to recognize a hack?
If any of you thinks that, like, someone like the Liddell Institute did something to someone, that would construe as like a hack then.
Yeah, I don't know if there's somebody tried to hack Jesse or if that was just physical or social intimidation here at work. That's really hard to say, and you know what? I can fix a hack right now. I can fix a glitch. I need my screwdriver isn't loaded for hacks because I heard go into the tunnel, and the tunnel is full of glitches. So.
Okay, then let's get going.
Yeah.
Okay, I think Jesse at this point is like, oh, go ahead, Agent Bubs. Sorry, on mute there.
Oh, I was just going to say perhaps we should make sure there's someone to watch over Jesse if we're going to leave, since he seems to be having a time.
I think Agent HOYT will turn to one of the other agents and tell them to have an eye on Jesse.
Yeah, I think this agent had come in holding a tray of sandwiches. And they're like, okay, okay. I think like Jesse's like, calm down. They've stopped tearing up, but they're like, kind of like, you promise you're gonna get Lenny back, so you're gonna have to do that. So I think traversing is simple. You got the letter. All you have to do is it's like a Harry Potter port key, I guess. You just kind of like hold on to it, all four of you, and I think there's a swooping sensation in your stomach. It's kind of like you're being pushed forward, and it looks like you're melting into the floor. But when you kind of like get up, suddenly the air around you is kind of like this. It's quite muggy, it's warm, it's humid, and you see like there's a lot of greenery around you. Kind of like very sort of like not entirely jungly, but kind of like that sort of feeling. It's humid and whatnot, and you can see that there's a glass ceiling above you. There's like glass walls around. You're kind of like in this clearing, this like circular sort of clearing. You're standing on like cobblestones, so clearly like it's all cleared out, or someone built this artificial sort of clearing, and you can tell you're in some sort of like greenhouse sort of scenario. You also see that there's a lot of tables kind of like knocked down to the ground, a lot of chairs also scattered to the ground, and there's like an eerie kind of silence until you hear like a teacup being set down behind you, and you just kind of like hear this like rather prim voice just say, "Oh, you certainly took your time. I I was told that the Morpheus agency prized efficiency and professionalism, but that was, you hear like a tapping on the wrist, that was quite some time in between my message and your lot coming over. What took you?
Is that important right now? What took us so long? Is that why you ask us here?
I guess I should describe who you're talking to.
Yeah, okay. I'm still being snarky.
Yeah, that's fine. So I think when you kind of turn around, you see this like this rather prim lady in what we describe as like Victorian mourning clothes. Mourning as in with the U. So like dark black and purple kind of velvet kind of dress, rather fancy cravat on. I think yes, she absolutely has a bonnet of some sort. There would have been a veil, but the veil has kind of been pulled up on the bonnet, and she's kind of looking at you with these piercing sort of green eyes. Although there is a weird thing when you kind of look at her, you can almost kind of barely see the plants behind her, and I think you kind of notice that she's a bit translucent as well. And she says, "Well, I would have thought speed would be the essence, given that one of your lot has found herself in grave danger."
Have you ever met Agent Plummer?
Agent Plummer? The name seems familiar, but I have to wonder, why would you care? Why ought to care given what kind of question would that be given what's at stake at the moment?
Well,
Does he keep asking why we were slow?
Maybe if you point us in the right direction to find Agent Turner, that would be more efficient than you berating us for being late.
Well, that's the thing. Because if you had been quicker, and I'll grant that this Agent Plummer might be at fault there, if you had been quicker, you would have come here and you'd have found myself and Agent Turner having a quite lovely chat over some scones, which I would offer to you, but given how unimaginably rude you've been acting, well, you'll find that the scones are not off limit to the four of you. Well, to yourself, my blue-haired would-be, maybe, but not possibly going to be friend. The rest of you, you're still welcome to the scones. If you had been quicker, well, you would have found that scene, but instead, well, things at the gardens are a bit of chaos at the moment, so forgive me for being short with the four of you for taking your time.
I think Snooker draws his gun and puts it against her wrist, right where her watch is. I say, if the next thing you do isn't get Turner back, you'll never be complaining about tardiness again.
All right,
And you thought I was the rude one, huh?
Oh, maybe with my other hand, I'm already eating one of those scones, if that's how you pronounce them in your place in the world. I don't know.
This is a willpower. This is will, for sure. Because your will is described as make changes to the world for. Actually, no. Let's see. Oh yeah, no. This will be charisma because charisma is like to intimidate someone.
Okay. Does a cocked firearm give me any advantage in that regard?
I don't think so. Actually, hold on. I guess yeah. Actually, not. I think it'll give you an advantage. So you roll two dice for that, and I'll take the higher.
Okay.
And only one result will add. The higher result is the only one that will add to your heart rate.
A 9 and an 8, so that's both successes.
They're both misses as well. Yeah.
So it's lower than, right, on stats?
Yes, you want to roll under if it's like if it's your vital stats. But you are going to add 9. You're still going to add it to your heart rate, so you add 9. Yeah. So I think they will just with their other hand, they will just daintily pick your pistol off your hand and just say, "Wow, I have to wonder. I guess Agent Turner gave me the rather false impression of you, Morpheus Agent Lot. I would assume you would be much like her, kind, polite, bursting with curiosity, but instead you're being impeccably rude."
Okay, look, lady, forgive us. We are worried about our colleague. And you seem to imply that time was of the essence. So maybe you would just go and help us out here. We are really trying to find her. And if she's in danger, we are trying to rescue her. Okay?
Hold on. Let's see. Oh yes, that was under.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got confused as well. That would have been a success. I think. Okay, I think we'll fold this in to what Katsuo was saying. Sorry, that's my bad. That would have been a success. I missed that. That's my bad. I think she sighs and kind of puts the pistol down next to your hand. Agent Snooker says, "Well, if you're going to be brutish about it, fine. Things here in the garden would have been much nicer. Would have been we're in a state of calm, but you came in at kind of a terrible point. The garden's kind of under attack right now, and normally, if things were under attack, one would stick to a safe place, like this clearing right now. This clearing right now is protected thanks to my efforts. But your Agent Turner decided to come running towards danger once she found out what the danger was, which is quite counterintuitive, if I do say so myself.
What was the danger?
Well, us, I don't know what your name for it is in the agency, but us from the Liddell Institute, we call it VORM.
Oh. Okay. I think we might have heard that word before. I'm looking at Agent Bob's.
Yeah, I was just formulating what sort of way I should approach this, 'cause clearly I need to ask. So, VORM, you say?
Yes, VORM. Well, I guess that's the name we gave it. And we corroborated with other people that that's also the name they gave it. So I guess that's just its name.
Can you describe it?
Well, I think she directs behind you. And when you turn around, you'll see on the edge of the clearing there's a humanoid figure standing just kind of like on the edge. They're leaning forward. They're kind of like stuck still. They don't have a face, is what you notice. This humanoid figure is kind of like, it looks like what would be, they look like a businessman from the 90s, I'd say. Which is to say a businessman from the 80s. They got like just a rumpled gray suit and slacks and whatnot, and they're holding a briefcase. And they've got this kind of like, just a rather generic brunette haircut. But their face has been replaced by this gaping circular mouth. And this mouth is like this mouth is kind of like, it looks like it's like it looks like they're leaning forward, and this mouth is kind of like on the edge of this clearing, and it's almost leech-like. This, I say almost, no, it is leech-like, with these rows of like circular teeth, and they're kind of like on. It looks like they're pressed against something invisible, which is essentially what this clearing is kind of protecting, I guess, or how this clearing is being protected. But it's kind of like it's like they're pressed against a glass, and you can't hear them, but they're kind of like they're solidly stuck against this invisible glass. And this lady just says, That's the VORM for you. Kind of.
Is there just one of them?
Oh, you Morpheus agency folks, you're woefully ill-informed.
Oh my God! Just answer the question, lady.
She's really she has this like kind of like grin on her face. I think no, she's kind of enjoying this. She says, "The VORM, as far as we know, is well, they're less of a creature and more of an infection, really." Oh, look, there's another one right there. And you see, if she turns around, she gestures, and you see kind of like burrowing out of the ground next to this humanoid thing is another humanoid figure in another, again, with the same kind of mouth face. And they start joining their
So
brethren.
they're an infection.
They're an
They're an
infectious.
infection.
They're an infectious thought. Maybe they're an infectious idea. Maybe all we know is they are certainly an infection.
Okay. So let me get a step back here. You're CJ?
Oh, you got my letter. Yes. Oh, of course. Why else would you be here? Yes. Well, the proper nomenclature is cousin John's, but yes, call me CJ.
Very well, you can call me Kay.
Okay, and the rest of you would be
Bubs.
Bobs. And you, my fine brutish chap. Oh, you can have the pistol back, by the way.
I mean, she hardly took it from me, right?
Yeah, no, she put it. Yeah, she put it back.
Someone to keep an eye on, because I'm about up to here with your bullshit. You better play it straight with us, or else I'll send you back to where you came from.
I was just asking for a name. You don't have to be so rude.
Oh, but I do, because you started it.
Fair enough. All right. Since you're all so eager to get to the point, this place is under siege, and I was sitting here protecting myself, waiting for extraction. But your friend, Agent Turner, upon hearing the nature of the things sieging this place, decided to run forth and. Oh, I'm not sure what it is exactly she's seeking, but she's somewhere in the garden, trying to find the VORM or whatever. And well, if she wants to put herself in danger, that's her prerogative.
But she's still in the garden.
Yes.
Thank you. Let's go and look for her.
I just want to ask a series of yes or no questions before we go. We don't need any extra words, just yes or no. 1. Is VORM what's keeping this place under siege?
Yes.
2. Do you actually know how VORM is transmitted?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to come back to that when I'm done with the yes or no's. 3. Do you think it's likely that, oh bother, I'm so bad with the names. The one we're saving. Jesse?
Agent Turner. Lenny.
Thank you. Lenny, that's what. That Agent Turner has been already infected.
I think she gives this some thought, because you could tell she has like 5 sentences, or at least 5 sentences got to be combined into one run-on sentence. But I think she just stops and thinks, yes.
Well, shit. Okay. Do you know of any way to defend against being infected?
Yes.
Great. That was a great set of questions and answers. Now, can you elaborate as concisely as possible on 1, how do we defend ourselves?
Yes.
Okay, but this is the elaborating part. I'm done with the yes or no's.
Oh, are we done with yes or no's? I don't know.
Concisely as possible just means not extra sentences. just enough information, right? So how do we protect ourselves?
Well, the main thing would be to not get bitten, but
So that's the method of transmission, is biting.
well, biting. Hold on, I actually have to look up now. Give me a second. I'm on the wrong page. No, I'm not talking about. No, geez. No, not these creepy crawlies. These creepy crawlies. Oh, actually, no. She says it. Biting seems to be, but you want to watch out for that. And she points back to the two burrowing vorm, and you can see like there's this ovipositor sort of needle kind of like poking out of the mouth, and it's trying to penetrate through the clearing.
Super gross. All right. So your people call this infection thing VORM. Do you call the things that have it VORM, or is it just the condition that's VORM?
See, that's a funny thing. It is just VORM. The infection, the things it creates, the things that are infected, they all just become VORM.
But there's no centralized, like, VORM nucleus that we need to know about.
And I think like her facade kind of like, her snooty facade kind of like fades a bit. If we had found that out, then I would be lording it over you lot.
I'm sure you would.
But
so my last question then, before we go to the garden, is if Agent Turner is infected, will getting her out of the dream world and back into her body, like, what's the word? Not fix, but
de-infect.
Cure her.
Cure, yeah.
I think like she gives it some thought, and she says, so I'm looking up because like how do you do that? Because there is like, because you can be infected, and there is like a procedure. Right.
There's a reason I'm asking all of these before we go charging out into this garden full of possible terrifying human eel creatures.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't advise them going back here for sure.
You wouldn't advise what? Sorry?
If you take them out and they're infected, I wouldn't advise them going back here into the dreamscape. They may never. Yeah. Yes. That is how we managed to keep him alive. Yes, I wouldn't. I would say they'll be barred from coming back here ever again, because otherwise, they'd just be reconnected to VORM.
But they'll be disconnected if we leave. They're not going to bring VORM into the non-dream world if we recall them.
Well, all right. I'll give you this as a word of warning, since we're all at least in accord here. There have been cases of people with VORM going back to the waking world. Not enough to bring VORM to the waking world, but if enough tips over, if there's enough volume, that is a chance. But I'd rather we don't trigger that chance, right?
This is why I'm asking the questions.
Yes, well, I would say then, if you have no further questions, then I bid you all good luck on your hardy mission, and I hope your friend does well, because she seemed quite delightful.
Thank you. Anybody else want to?
Anything
I'm missing?
I think we're. I would ask as a player, does KATSUO know if these things, or if he looks watches them for a bit, are these things a glitch, or are they just beings?
They are just beings, but I think you know, or at least you can tell from like, because you're a technical agent, that like them being here is kind of like, I think you can see it. The garden is getting a bit fuzzy because they're here. They're not walking glitches, but them being here is kind of like causing this place to like break down. I'll give you that for free, because I think you can.
Okay, so I can fix it if I want to, so they are gone. But right now, I think the priority should be finding Agent Turner. So we'll relay that to the others, that this might be, this whole infection thing right now might be fixable by the screwdriver, but I would rather go find Agent Turner and see if I have to fix something with her before doing stuff with this garden here. I will tell them that when we're out of hearing of this CJ cousin Jones or whatever she thinks she is.
I have a quick out of character question, which is the seeing through disguises technique. It raises my heart rate anytime I use it, so I don't just want to ask every time we're anywhere if there's a disguise to look through.
Yeah.
Is there a way I can know to look for disguise it, like, so I'm not just asking all the time or something? I'm not really sure what the...
Yeah, I think the way this kind of set up, I think you will have to activate it. You can't know unless you do it. That's the thing. You can't just know that if there's a disguise. You have to be like just suspicious. Because
but there aren't any like telltale signs or anything that I can look out for.
No,
that something might be in disguise.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think you'll just have to activate the skill to do it.
Okay.
And yeah, it's a bit of a crapshoot. That's why you don't roll. You just get like that flat 10 to your beats per minute.
Okay.
Yeah, we are like about an hour. We've just done an hour, so we'll do another bio break. Let's take 5 this time. We'll come back at 48.2 to the top of the hour, and be right back. All right, so now we're done with CJ, or Cousin John's, or whatever she wants to call herself. Oh, I should mention, before recording, we did talk about Agent Hoyt stealing 2 scones. I pronounce them scones, just for the record. She pronounced them scones, okay? Just want to make that clear. I do not endorse the linguistic details of this particular agent. Okay, so I think she kind of like waves you in the direction of where Agent Turner went off, which is thankfully the opposite direction of those 2 borrowing VORM that are still trying to get through the clearing. And you know, she's just gonna stay there because, as she said, she's waiting for extraction. And yeah, I think when you kind of like walk down this path, you know, and again, it's kind of like, you know, it's kind of like a one kind of path, and you're part in this botanical garden, so it is really warm, like a bit unseasonable. Well, I say unseasonable. It's like, ugh, it's just muggy. Oh, I should remind folks about interference. There are 2 ways in which at least agents know how to induce interference, which is to call control and to request control of something. So you're always guaranteed 2 interference whenever your Agent Hoyt calls control. There are other secret ways, but they're mine to know and for you to find out.
I mean, I could change the temperature, but I don't think that that it's so warm that it would like impede our mission.
Yeah, it's just warm because you're in a greenhouse, and it's just muggy. And I will say that your interference has ticked up to 2, by the way. So right now they're represented by the tokens that pop out and roll for your party. So there we go. I think you kind of walk down this path, and I kind of want to know just a quick snapshot of how everyone's feeling at the moment, before stuff happens. Like, what's like the internal thoughts of each character as walking around? You see, like, oh, there's some trees you don't see every day. That's the point of being in the greenhouse, I guess. And yeah, I guess I also do want to ask, like, what is the kind of scenery, what kind of flora are you seeing in these botanical gardens?
Huge ferns, I guess, like the ancient ones that look like they have seen dinosaurs and know them on a first name basis, I guess. will some of them incongruously have huge blossoms, which ferns normally don't have, but it's a dream world, right? They can have blossoms. And I think Katsuo was mostly worried for Agent Turner, because I mean she fills out stuff for him, so
Yeah, who else could do that for Katsuo?
Agent Hoyt probably, but she's such a stickler in the mud.
Agent Snooker?
I think Agent Snooker is a bit narky, you know. Um, being ready to do violent acts to someone in the dream world doesn't bring out the best in him. So yeah, he's maybe a little bit short with people, but yeah, he's okay. He's keen to get on with this, right?
Cool. What about Bubs or Hoyt? How are they feeling?
I think Bubs is a little bit frustrated because, I mean, his obsession is the paintings and things, and it's been like mentioned, like Jesse mentioned that Agent Turner had asked about them, but then fell apart before we could ask more about that. And then obviously the thing with VORM has sort of taken over and we need to be going to rescue. But the inability to pursue that is frustrating. And I did think of a kind of like landscape element also, which is I'm imagining orchids. And you know how some orchids have like 3 main petals and then like the things in the middle that come out? So they're sort of like hybrid orchids and like Venus flytraps. So they have like beautiful petals, but then on the inside, like jaw-like things that move.
Oh. Yeah. You might regret describing specifically jaw-like things that move. Oh God.
They are also VORM.
We'll get to it. We'll get to it. They've just been described as an infection, and you've described flowers with jaw-like things. Thanks a lot, Bubs. How's Agent Hoyt doing? She didn't speak up while this rude lady was not giving them the goods.
Yeah, I think for Hoyt it was too intimidating to have another agent from another agency, and she was unsure how to interact with them. But she is definitely nervous, looking around, looking over her shoulder, having her purse close to her body, and maybe inside the purse is obviously the revolver, which is not drawn but close to her hand.
Yeah. I think that's good to have that. Hold on, I'm looking at some weapons. Okay, I think you kind of walking on this path and it kind of like twists around for a bit. And I think ahead of the path you hear gunshots. And I don't know, what do you do when you hear like gunshots? Who reacts like first to that?
Bubs will just hit the floor. Down he goes. Like not fainting, but just like.
Oh, I should describe gunshots ahead of the path. No one's shooting at you, but yeah, you can hear like they're ringing out the air for sure. But that makes sense. Yeah, Bubs gets down on the ground.
I'm getting behind Agent Snooker. Whatever he's doing, I'm staying behind him. I'm staying close in case he gets shot, but not in the line of fire.
I understand. I've stopped bullets already, so no, hitting the end is a good option because it's hard to tell where bullets are going to. Is this like a lot of fire or like a couple of gunshots? So
it's shots from a revolver is what it sounds like.
So I think after figuring that out, I will take out my weapon and make some relatively tactical movements to see if I can get my eyeballs on that situation.
Yeah, I think you kind of round the bends on this path, and you open up into like a clearing. I assume. Sorry, I should ask like Agent Hoyt, how are you reacting to these bullets? I assume.
I mean, she has spent some time in the shooting range. Is that an agency issued weapon?
No, it sounds like the pistol you have that you got. That
Oh,
one.
like a Squid Man pistol.
Yes, it sounds like, yeah. Because you were there when that squid man shot at
Yeah.
Katsuo. It sounds like that.
Mm. Yeah, I think she worries for Lenny, so she would probably get behind a tree and try to move from tree to tree towards the clearing.
Nice. And I think, yeah, this clearing is like this big sort of like rectangular shape. The clearing you left was like circular. This would be like rectangular. And you can see like this looks like the place for like, like a gift shop slash cafeteria. Clearly, I've not been to a botanical gardens in quite some time, but hey, this is a dreamscape botanical gardens. I might be conflating this with a zoo. Um, yeah, I think there's like, yeah, lots of like round cafeteria tables that has like, umbrellas, whatnot. Most of them are getting knocked askew. And you see like there's the gift shop at the far end, and there's like a bunch of benches. I've kind of been like set up to make like barricades, and you hear the gunshots coming from depth from those barricades. But there is this like tall figure kind of like walking towards the that barricaded gift shop. It's between you four and the gift shop, and it's clearly, I mean, it's clearly another squid person. You recognize it. For Pearl, you weren't here. These squid men from IV are described as, what if you squeezed a squid into a suit, basically. Like, actually, there is an illustration. I can share that on Zoom. Hold on. Oh, that's a lovely shot. Let me share that. There we go. That's a lovely squid in a suit. I think that is exactly what you're seeing. Like, no jacket. Um, there is, yeah, the tentacle popping out of the right and the left arm sleeves. Kind of like shambling, not shambling, like kind of like walk. Yeah, no, shambling. Yes, shambling towards like the gift shop. And you can hear it kind of like, it's squirming, because again, it is kind of like if you did stuff a squid into a suit. And yeah, you hear gunshots coming from the gift shop at this one figure. What do y'all do?
So do we have any idea of what is behind the barricade shooting at the squid guy, or
you know what? I think you can see from here, because it's more interesting to just tell you instead of make you roll for this. You see, if you look around it, you see the shots are coming from another squid person.
oh joy?
Yeah, they're shooting at the one that's coming at them.
A squid don't usually have teeth, right?
Well, you can't tell from the one that's in front of you because their back is turned to you. So but I think you can guess it. I think, you hear the sound coming from the one right in front of you, which you can hear from the VORM, because they were outside that clearing. But yeah, you hear this like this kind of like wind being sucked in, like. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Oh, yeah. Feel free to like if I'm going too far, like to toss it to script change all that, because like noises can be quite a bit, yeah. But yeah, it's different from the squid because the squid sounds was like a bit of squirming, but that you can tell is like another language. This is just like a hole being sucked, like wind being sucked in.
Almost like someone with a giant eel mouth.
On a squid, imagine that. Yeah, actually, I say eel, but I think I saw in the chat lamprey is more like it actually. Now that I've remembered the description in the book, yeah, it is more like a lamprey mouth.
Is
That is so
everyone-
much nicer. Yeah.
Yeah. Is everyone near enough that if I like speak in a low voice so that the other things can't hear, that they could hear me?
And we have these communication devices. So you
yes.
can
Oh, right.
talk to us at any point.
I forgot about this. So I'm just gonna suggest to the team that squids shooting at each other feels like one less thing we have to do, and maybe we should just wait until hopefully they've killed each other rather than going into the middle of this.
I think maybe one of them is infected by the VORM and the other isn't, and that could be a good point to make some friends with this squid guys if we spoke their language, which we don't. So
I mean,
If
I
only
could
we had someone
probably
who
speak
could.
it.
Yeah.
but I feel like while they're in the middle of a gunfight is not usually the best time to like just wander up and say hello. So
No,
do
but
we
if-
want to?
if
if
we take out,
we
if we take out
did
his enemy,
something, yeah. I'm inclined to just leap in and shoot this, Vorm in the back of the head, or whatever thing we're calling its central control mechanism.
That sounds how yeah. Oh, Agent White, go ahead.
Oh no, I agree.
Sorry.
We should make we should try to make friends if possible.
I do like it. The people who were there when they killed that squid person is the one advocating for friendship. The one who wasn't there was like, let's just leave him. Which is just neat.
They're shooting at each other. It's less about just leave them as that I don't want to get shot.
That's completely fair. I also don't want to get shot, but that's what I'm here for, apparently. Right, Katsuo?
yeah, you're so good at it.
Very, very good at it.
Sounds like Agent Snooker is just gonna.
Also, you
Go
can
ahead.
survive it.
So, well, everyone can survive a gunshot now. You've got more than like 5 or 6 hit points.
I've got 6 hit points, and this thing made 7 last time, so no, I can't survive it.
Okay, sorry. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna kind of move at a jog or kind of a quick walk up behind it to get a good line on it, and then just pop a couple of rounds in its back or head or both.
Okay, so you are gonna roll to hit with firearm. So you are, yes, you you. Oh, that should be easier to hit. Yeah, you hit on a roll of 5 on the d20. So just roll a d20, and if you roll over, you're fine.
17, which might be, I'm not sure what its dodge is.
Oh yes, let me double check that. Forgot this thing has stats. Oh, you're in good luck. Its defense is higher than the 17, so I have to roll to see if it makes a save now, which is fairly simple. Wow. Not as wow, that's bad for this thing. Didn't make a save. Oops. Yeah, roll how much are your damage? A handgun? Yeah, D8.
D8, yeah. 7.
Wow. Jesus Christ, y'all are rolling So outside of if in the waking world, y'all don't roll well. In the dreamscape, y'all are rolling fine, apparently.
It's almost like this is our job, huh?
yeah, for sure. I think, there's no helping mechanism, but yeah, you have snooker. It's fine. So yeah, I think you pump some rounds, into this thing, and it kind of like lurches forward a bit, and then it turns around kind of like jauntily, and you can see that not only does it have like also a gun in its hand. When it turns around, you see that like its squid face is gone, and it's now this like gaping hole of teeth, and it kind of like is raising like a gun to it's also raising up, but you can see it's a weirdly shaped gun as well. Don't forget to add both that 17 and that 8 to your heart rate.
I'm at 103 now, so getting up there.
Yeah, getting up there. So anyone else responding? And just making this like sort of sucking noise, and you can feel kind of like the wind kind of like on your face there.
I mean, we're in there are probably some branches or something lying around, right?
Okay. Yeah. You are in a botanical gardens.
Oh, come on, why not? Hopefully he'll shoot at Snooker. I'll take one of the branches and I'll make some kind of you can see. I mean, you can see that KATSUO has probably had some kind of martial arts training. He's not just lobbing at the thing with the branch. He's just. It looks a bit more refined, but not much. Let's see how I'll roll, and then we can see how refined hitting this thing with a branch looks like. Okay.
Yep. So that's the hit with melee. Your
okay.
9.
Okay. I have to roll over 9. I have to roll over, right? Yes. Yes. Okay. I've rolled a 2.
Wow.
Which is cool for my heart rate, but I can't roll. That's just a D20. D20 is hell for me. So.
Wow. Okay. So, yeah.
Maybe should have put a bit more effort into it, huh?
Yeah, I think. Oh my gosh. Okay. So, you try to hit it with the branch, and I think the other arm, the one not holding the gun, just kind of like raises up really quick, and its tentacle wraps around the branch and brings you in close. I'm gonna need you to roll a save against
my
normal hazards. Yeah,
normal hazards. That's 15 plus. Oh wow, yeah, that will totally work. Well, I've got to roll over, right? Oh, I've rolled another 2.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Okay, it's not like it's stressing me out though.
Yeah, the nice thing is that like combat kind of works the same for the enemies. I just learned this now. I know we did combat last time, and I've learned it better. I do still have to roll to hit you.
Oh, cool.
The bad thing is the burrowing vorm has a hit dice of 2, so I have to roll 2 d20s.
Yeah, but I have a defense of 17, so.
Yes, that is good. Let's see. Let me look at this attack. Okay. Okay, yeah, it absolutely hits. That's 11, so your defense doesn't work. It's just gonna bite you. It's just gonna to bite you. And I'm gonna roll for its defense. I'm gonna ask Agent Snooker if you want to step in to take that bite. Roll. It's not that much actually. The bite doesn't do much, which is good. Let me roll.
Except like infect you, right?
No, there's yes, 2 attacks. I'll show you that now. The bite is just a bite. The infection is the needle thing that's gonna poke out of its mouth. Yeah,
those two seem very closely connected in my mind.
Yeah. There is a difference. This bite will heal this thing. That's a 2, so you take 2 damage. KATSUO, unless anyone wants to, unless Snooker, you do have that ability.
Yeah, but save it for more damage, right? I can't take 2.
You can take 2.
Yeah,
sure?
I can. Yeah, barely, but okay. Yeah, I can't take 2.
Okay. Okay. I'll turn to Bubs. How are you unmuted there? How are you doing?
Well, I think if I see it like going to bite, Katsuo. I don't have any firearms or weapons really at all.
Mhm.
But I'm gonna imagine there's something like a rock nearby, like anything,
Yeah.
not too heavy for me to pick up, but heavy enough. And I'm gonna try to like bash it on the head while it's biting Katsuo so that it won't have time for the needle thing to come out. Hopefully, I can knock it out before it finishes the job.
Yeah. Okay. Good luck with that. This sounds like, oh, you're holding the rock. This sounds like to hit melee. So you're gonna want to roll over your melee, to hit melee score.
Okay.
So you're rolling a d20.
Beautiful.
Whatever the result is, you're gonna add to your current heart rate.
Okay.
Actually, yours should have reset to 70 because I don't think you rolled anything before coming into the dreamscape. Heart rates always reset when you come back out.
Yeah, it is at 70 currently.
Okay, cool.
But I definitely failed that roll.
To answer Sabine's question in the chat, no, your heart rate doesn't go for the damage because I rolled it. What did you roll, Bobs?
Like an 8. I totally failed.
Oh, okay.
I tried.
Oh, okay. Okay, you are okay. Here's kind of what happens. I mentioned how things glitch around the VORM. So I think you kind of get close, and I think once you kind of like once you raise the rock, I think you start hearing that conversation you had with the fish again, and it's kind of like it's being spoken to. It's like the fish is with you, talking to you in your head. But I need you to make a save against glitches.
Okay. So I have 11 as the saving throw.
Oh,
wait.
because you went
it
up.
might have changed on the sheet.
Yeah.
I was looking at my paper sheet. So a 10
Yes.
for
So you wanna
glitches?
Yes. You want to roll that and above. 10 or above.
On the D20?
Yes.
Right? Okay. It didn't change. It's doing that thing, I think.
Yeah, you feel free to reroll. I think, yeah, it's doing that thing. Hey!
14.
Okay, so that means you're going to be fine. I think what I'll get, that means this glitch not going to get you, but what you will hear is the fish going like, it's saying, you're getting close. You need to get further on. You need to, and I think their soft kind of syrupy kind of voice, kind of like you can hear it kind of melting away. But you have enough presence in mind because you want that save to know that like, it's like their speech is being overwritten and it's now this like harsher sort of tone, and they're saying a completely different thing. They're saying this mantra, and it's a long one, and they're saying something along like, you are small, a speck amongst infinity. You scramble through layers, desperate for answers, and yet your questions are pathetic. They mean nothing in all schemes. They mean nothing against the might of all reality. We are that reality, that whole that was once broken, that whole from hence all shall return. You have need of us. You have need of everything. We can give you everything. And that just entire paragraph repeats again and again. And I think because you want that save, that's kind of like, that's coming from this glitch or this tear that this VORM thing is pushing through.
Well, I'm definitely not going to believe it.
I'll turn to Agent Hoyt, and then this thing, because the way this works, everyone gets a turn, and then this thing gets a turn. Agent Hoyt, what do you do?
Yeah, I think Hoyt has grabbed the pistol out of her purse and let go of the purse so that it falls on the ground, and her hand is a bit shaking, obviously. But she is unloading the gun into the squid VORM.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, roll to hit with firearms.
Let's see, what is my to hit? I think it's 11.
I think it should be 9. You roll over, right?
Yeah,
and
you
you
roll
took
over.
an advance and it improved your to hit, but that doesn't make it go higher but lower. You know what I mean?
Yeah, did I don't know what the logistics.
You start with 10. So yeah.
I start with 10. So I do
Yeah.
have a 9. Thanks,
Yeah.
Sabine. Nice.
Sure. I just noticed because your stats seem to be worse than last time, so that didn't make a lot of sense.
I got a 15 again, which is nice.
Nice. Well, don't forget to add that to your heart rate.
That is true. So 15, and then I roll a d8 for damage.
Yes, for damage.
Hold on.
Yeah, and this thing's defense is a 19, so you're fine.
And it is a 6. So 15 and 6 is 21. Let's see. But I'm at my optimum heart rate, which is good.
Which is good. Yeah. So I think shaking, you're there, and I think no, I think your shot rings true. I think this mantra that Bubs is hearing kind of starts spilling into as it like after it's taken that bite out of Katsuo, and you know it's you hear that mantra going, you know, we are everything, that sort of thing. It's almost starting to spill through, but then Agent Hoyt, your shot rings through, and I think, bang. Do you have a cheesy one-liner you want to deploy, or is this going to be just a shot?
No, Barbara Hoyt is not for cheesy one-liner.
That's a shame. Well, no, that's fine. You know what? Not everyone needs to have a cheesy one-liner. Yeah, I think. Yeah. So yeah, your shot rings through, and it kind of goes into the mouth and kind of comes out of. Yeah, you just shoot it, and I think it just kind of like it falls and it like slumps to the ground, and like the wheezing has stopped. And I think before there's like a moment where you can like take a breath, I think you hear a burbling from the guest house, and they go, and you see the squid person has kind of like raised 2 tentacles. One of them is holding a revolver, and they're going. You hear like bobbing.
There's plenty more tentacles where that came from, buddy.
I think he's trying to surrender.
So do I, but you know, I need to insert some kind of cheesy one-liner here. You know, we have professional standards to maintain.
I apologize. Yeah, sure.
Bubs, get up here. Talk to this squid.
Yeah, can do. I mean, this if we want to know what it has to say, it seemed like you were more in favor of just like destroying it, possibly. So I wasn't sure whether I should step in.
I mean, we want to know where Lenny is. Maybe you can ask him if he has seen an agent.
Yeah, no, happy to do. I thought maybe Snooker was gonna do a violent thing.
Usually,
first.
I am much more of the enemy of my enemy will have to take a number and get in line. But in this case, I think we will treat them like a almost friend for now.
Okay, so for the techniques, it adds 10 to my heart rate, but I don't have to roll, it says?
Yes, it just happened.
Okay. So yeah, I will go up and talk to the squid.
What does that look like when you activate this technique? Like, how do you like kind of like consciously like activate it?
I'm trying to think, should I? Probably shouldn't be touch based because I won't always be able to touch things, but I am always able to do the thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe sort of like putting fingers to my temples and like sort of blocking out other things so that I'm like focused directly on whatever being I'm trying to talk to. And then it just kind of starts to happen. And like maybe I start mumbling in the language that it speaks, which probably creeps everyone out. And it maybe becomes clearer and clearer as the skill is developing, but depending on how creepy their language is, it may not be any less unsettling to everyone else to hear it.
Yeah, I think Bob starts like talking in that burbling squid language, like, but to Bob's, I think the burbling kind of like slowly transforms into like words, and the squid man saying, thank all of Ib that you've come. The VORM are are taking over this place. We were just in here to observe, and my compadre, they got it through. They got it through the skies. The VORM are expanding. They're infecting everything. Watch the birds. Watch the plants. The VORM. We should. And I think like he gestures everyone into like, we should get inside. We should get inside. We need to talk.
Okay, since everyone else doesn't understand, I will translate that. Like everyone come inside. Important talk, apparently. So I guess I'll ask the squid. Did you say they first came from the sky? Because the ones we saw seemed to burrow up from the ground.
Yeah, I think like when you kind of go into like the gift shop, windows are it's fairly empty. I think, but you hear like some voices like in the back rooms. You can tell Squid Person's not the only person here. And I think, hold on, we're kind of close to time, so I think we're gonna wrap up around this point. I'm just gonna do one last thing. Give me a second. I need to roll a d12. And sorry about this. Just need to roll one thing. Aha, here we go. Okay. So I'm rolling for interference because you've reached 3 interference, and this has told me to roll on another table. Give me a second. I think this is gonna happen as the Squid Person is bringing you into this place. Let's see. Okay. All right. Yeah, I think as you kind of walk in, it says like they came from the sky, which normally wouldn't be a problem because this is a greenhouse, but we thought all the VORM could take on or they could infect our sapient humanoids, like, and they point at themselves with both tentacles that's coming out of their suit pockets. And you as well, that the VORM, they're adapting to beings of smaller sapiens. They came through the birds. They infected the birds. And now we need to find out, but we think they're starting to infect the plants.
Okay. And so we can like just put in the fictional background that I'm like narrating this or translating it in real time so that everyone knows the same thing.
Yeah, and I think here's how we're gonna close off this session, if that's okay, because we're right about on time to the end. The thing I was rolling for was interference, which for those who don't know, whenever people do a thing or meet a thing, interference will shoot up. For every 3 interference, I roll on the table, and I rolled a minor glitch occurs, so I had to roll on that table. And I think when we get a shot, when it says, it's starting to infect the plants, it might start to do that. We get a shot of like outside this greenhouse, those trees you went past, those flowers, suddenly there are more of them, and like more sprouting out of the ground. Those flowers are starting to like multiply, and I think I would just get a shot of like this flower poking out of the ground. And when it opens up its jaws, it's a lamprey mouth. Yeah. So we're gonna close it there. We're gonna see, or this will be a cliffhanger for tonight. And next session we are gonna we're gonna see how this all works out. It'll be fine. It'll be grand. There's stuff at the gift shop. They'll help you out. There might be a painting or 2. Who knows? It'll be fine. it's a gift shop. You never know what you'll find there. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up here. We'll do debrief after when I turn off the recording. But thank you again so much for playing. I was glad to have Pearl back. To have nice haberdashery. No, that's a place that makes hats. Never mind. Or no, no, they don't make hats. Never mind. I'm gonna get lost in these terms. But yeah, we'll do debrief once I turn off the recording. But again, thanks very much. So we'll see how our agents tip on next week. So we'll see you all next time, YouTube.